Hi guys, so in this video I just wanted to talk about another sort of small collection of movies I've got that I think are really underrated. Absolute gems, some of these. Just think they deserve just a little bit more love because they've got so much talent in them, and it's criminal that they've gone under the radar for so long. So yeah, that's just my opinion. Now you might see these movies and think, well, they're not underrated. I've seen them all. They've got the recognition they deserve. I just personally think they need just a little bit more love, and some of them you may have even never heard of. And I hope I can spark your interest in checking them out. But yeah, that being said, going to get straight into it. And the first pick I've got is a movie called Mate One. This is a fantastic sort of movie about coal miners. They're hit with cuts. The wages are being cut. New ownership's coming in, and it leads to this absolute fantastic violent revolt that happens in the movie. Great cast of this as well: James L. Jones, Mary McDonnell, Chris Cooper. The movie's just absolutely fantastic. I don't know if this has got a Blu-ray release. The DVD of it was quite expensive, but I don't regret buying it at all. It was just an absolutely superb movie that I really dug. So yeah, check it out if you've not seen it. So the next movie that I've picked that I think is quite underrated is a movie called Sneakers. This is a great hacking movie with an absolute stellar cast to it. Robert Redford, Dan Aykroyd, River Phoenix, Sidney Poitier, Mary McDonnell, Ben Kingsley. It basically focuses on this rivalry that happened many years ago between Robert Redford and Ben Kingsley and where they are now. I just really enjoyed this movie. The cast in it's brilliant. I can't say much more than that about the cast. And the story was just really intriguing and fun. So if you check it out, I don't think you'll be disappointed with it. Just go into it with an open mind. Now, my next pick, I've actually got two movies here for this next choice. Really dark and disturbing movies, in my opinion. So gone with Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, and Man Bites Dog. So just touching on Henry first. Yeah, this movie is just so disturbing to me. It was just such an uncomfortable watch. It's not for everyone, but for me, I think it deserves to be talked about a lot more. Fully deserved that 18 rating. It follows basically Henry, played by Michael Rooker, who was a real serial killer, and the movie has all these weird segments put into it of all these dead bodies and how they've been mutually murdered. It was just so creepy. Great to see Michael Rooker in this. It's like Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy do this such horrific and violent movie. The most disturbing scene to me in this, though, is when Henry and his friend Otis break into this family's home and murder the entire family in there, and they videotape it and watch it back, and the way they kill the family is just absolutely disturbing. Like, the movie even comes with a warning on it. It just says, pretty much beware of the violence in this film. It's really upsetting. So yeah, if you've got the stomach for it, I recommend Henry. It's just a great violent movie. Same can be said for Man Bites Dog. This is a Belgian film that came out in, I believe, 92. It's basically about a documentary crew that follow around this serial killer, and he basically talks to them about how he kills people. You even see him kill people in the movie. There's a scene where they break into an old woman's home and the old woman's there, and he pretty much shouts at her, and she goes into like a cardiac arrest to kill her, and he's like, well, how did you know she was going to do that? And he was like, oh, I saw the heart pills on the table. There's a scene where he talks about he killed two Muslims and he buried them facing Mecca, this construction site. But the scene for me that was just so disturbing is when he kills this child at the end, and he's like, I don't kill kids that often. It's too much of a mess. But it was just so disturbing, and I believe when the movie came out, people walked out on it because they didn't know if it was fake. It has this real sense of realism to it, and yeah, I just thought it was super disturbing. But as I said, if you've got the stomach for it again, check it out. But they're two great, great, disturbing movies about serial killers, if that's what floats your boat. So, my next pick is a movie that's a lot more recent. I don't know how many people have heard of this. Picked up the Blu-ray off Amazon.com, and I absolutely thought this movie was just such fun and such a joy. And it's The Hero with Sam Elliott. It follows Sam Elliott, who's a sort of out of work actor. He's doing like a lot of voiceover work, and how he forms this relationship with this younger woman, played by Laura Prepon, probably most famous for Orange is the New Black and that 70s show. And she's like a stand-up comedian in the movie as well. It's got the girl in it as well from Breaking Bad, who plays his sort of like a strange daughter that he wants to try and build a relationship as well. And Nick Offerman is great in this movie. He's great in most things he's in, as a sort of the stoner drug dealer. But yeah, there's not really much of a plot to it. It's more of a character type movie. But I thought it was just really, really enjoyable and deserves a lot more love and to be seen by a lot more people. So, my next pick is probably the movie that is probably most well recognised, in my opinion. And that is Ingrid Goes West with Aubrey Plaza and Elizabeth Olsen. This movie just is so creepy, and yeah, it sort of revolves around that whole idea of becoming obsessed with people and following them on, like Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff, and basically sort of stalking people, and the low things people would do to get in these people's lives. And I just thought it was just so fantastic and so creepy. Yeah. Couple of MCU actors in this as well. You've got Elizabeth Olsen, you've got Wyatt Russell from Falcon and the Winter Soldier in here as well as this married couple. And Elizabeth Olsen Aubrey Plaza pretty much follows Elizabeth Olsen on Instagram and just becomes obsessed with her. Yeah, she steals her dog just to try and pretend that she found the dog to give it back. It's just really, really weird. And yeah, how much you can become obsessed with people, just it's really dangerous and freaked me out. But I really, really dug the movie. So my next pick is actually a John Carpenter film. Fans of John Carpenter will know this movie, but if you're not, if you're just a casual moviegoer, I fully recommend In the Mouth of Madness. Just what a creepy movie. Great movie as well with Sam Neill. It sort of follows this author who's pretty much like a fictitious version of Stephen King. Everyone loves his books. He's coming out with a new one. And Sam Neill's like pretty much just like following it because I think the author's like a bit of a recluse and no one's really seen him. And it has some of the creepiest imagery in it that I've just ever seen in a movie. And it is fantastic. So underlooked. One of Carpenter's best. Yeah, In the Mouth of Madness. Check it out. So my next pick is a little action movie starring Brandon Lee. And that is Rapid Fire. Stars Brandon Lee, obviously Bruce Lee's son, and Powers Booth. Two great actors who are sadly no longer with us. I absolutely love anything Powers Booth's in. I just think he's great. He was in Tombstone, Sudden Death, the Van Damme movie. Also made a little appearance in the first Avengers movie as well. Sadly, before he passed away. But yeah, Rapid Fire is a great cop action movie. Brandon Lee, obviously, of course, most famous for The Crow. And of course, unfortunately, passing away on set of that movie. But the few movies we got with him are just absolutely great. This and Showdown in Little Tokyo, superb. But yeah, Rapid Fire, if you've not seen it, it's a great 90s action movie. Fully recommend it. So my next underrated pick is sort of teen 80s movie. And that's Lucas. This again is a movie with another great stellar cast to it. Corey Haim, Charlie Sheen, Kerry Green, Winona Ryder. Kerry Green, obviously, most famous for playing Andy in The Goonies. Charlie Sheen, yeah, he's great in this movie. Before he went all crazy Charlie Sheen. And of course, you've got the late great Corey Haim. And this is a movie about falling in love with people, but the people just, and it's not. It's about it not being reciprocated. And I just thought it was such a great movie to capture that storyline. Again, this is a movie that I really, really appreciate because I think it has a lot of balls to it. The movie doesn't end with a happy ending at all. People who you think are going to fall in love and meet don't. But it's all about accepting as well that someone you love might be in love with someone else and you have to sort of deal with that. And yeah, I just thought it was really, really mature for what it dealt with, and absolutely loved it. And the things you go to and the crazy things that love makes you do as well. Like Lucas is pretty much this little skinny guy, but he's in love with Kerry Green and he ends up joining the football team. And he's just like, you're not going to survive out there, kid. It's crazy. But yeah, great cast, great story. Absolutely loved it. Great underrated 80s movie as well, in my opinion. So my next underrated pick is Pacific Heights with Melanie Griffith, Matthew Modine, and Michael Keaton. This is one of my favourite Michael Keaton movies pretty much ever, in my opinion. I absolutely adore him in this film. Great to see him sink his teeth into the villainous role. The plot is basically Matthew Modine and Melanie Griffin are a couple who have bought a house, but to help with the renovation and to help pay the mortgage, they rent a couple of the rooms out. And Michael Keaton is basically the tenant from hell. Doesn't pay his rent, starts breeding cockroaches. Yeah, and they basically have to get him out. And there's more to it than meets the eye with him. I won't go into it too much, but it is great to see him play this villain and this absolute despicable piece of shit. And just the horrible fucking pain he puts this couple through. I just fully recommend this movie. Check it out if you've not seen it. Right, so my last pick, I've actually got two choices for. They were both made by the same director. One of these movies, I've asked a lot of YouTubers if they've seen it, and every time I brought it up, the response has been no, they've never heard of it, never seen it. So that's the second movie I've got here. The first movie is The Quick and the Dead. And the movie I've asked people about is A Simple Plan. Both of these directed by Sam Raimi. I'll touch on The Quick and the Dead first. This is a Western movie, which is basically a battle royale. It's like the sort of World Cup of shootouts. It's like a group of people enter into this tournament, and the winner basically wins a shit ton of money. The cast in this movie, my God. Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, Russell Crowe, Leonardo DiCaprio. You've got Lance Hendrickson in there as well. Absolutely brilliant cast. Superb. Gene Hackman's great as the villain in this as well. It's basically, survivor takes all, winner takes all, and it's just knockouts in this shootout tournament. And I absolutely love this movie. Quick and the Dead. Superb. Check it out if you've not seen it. One of Sam Raimi's best movies, in my opinion. It's up there with the Spider-Man stuff and the Evil Dead stuff for me. But this one, for me, it goes even beyond that for me. This is my favourite Sam Raimi movie of all time. My favourite Bill Paxton movie of all time as well. R.I.P. Bill Paxton. Absolutely miss that guy in the movies he did. Even when he just pops up, it's like, oh, it's Bill Paxton. The movies are better instantly, even if the movie's shit. Bill Paxton being in it just makes it for me. But yeah, this movie is about two brothers and their friend who basically stumble across this crashed plane in the woods, and they find a sack, and there's about $3 or $4 million in this sack, and it's like, what are we gonna do? Do we turn the money in? Do we keep it? What are we going to do? There's a line in this which is absolutely great where his friends, after they find the money, his friend says, this is the American dream. And Bill Paxton has this look on his face and he just says, You work for the American dream, you don't steal it. And that performance just won me over. It's his best performance. It's so good. So basically, they decide to keep the money, but keep it to lay low with it, not to touch it, not to spend any of it yet. And it leads to absolute paranoia amongst this group of friends. They do things that they wouldn't normally do. They commit murder. Oh, and it just leads to just some explosive tension and some of the best acting I've ever seen. I won't dare spoil the ending, but my God. It is, as it says, it's a simple plan, but everything that can go wrong does go wrong, and it is so good. Great Billy Bob Thornton movie as well. Just, yeah, absolutely great. Cannot recommend Simple Plan enough. If you love Sam Raimi movies, this is probably going to become your new favourite one. Unless, you've really got an attachment to like Evil Dead and things like that. But for me, this is my favourite Sam Raimi movie. And it's so underseen and so underlooked. And it's absolutely criminal for that. So, yeah, Simple Plan. Can't recommend it enough. Just two great movies there from Raimi. Just absolutely underseen. So, yeah, there's another batch of movies that I think are just criminally underrated and underseen and deserve a little bit more attention and a little bit more love. So yeah, I'll leave the video there and I'll just say thanks very much for watching. If you're new, please think about hitting the subscribe button to help the channel out. And I'll just say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe and take care.